Right. Hey everyone, Chris here. Just concluded a team practice here with the guys, and I've been thinking about doing a video on this for a while now, and I just haven't because I didn't feel that it was necessary, or that I didn't want it to turn into something that I didn't intend for it to be. But today, just some things happened at practice, and I want to talk to anyone who's willing to listen about this. I want to talk to people about, in particular, paintball teams. Anyone who's followed me for the years, you would know that I had my own team back in, let's see, it was like 2004 to 2012, I want to say. It's Hostile Ground. You guys have seen the DSR videos and the teasers and stuff like that. You've seen me playing with them a lot here lately. And that team, it was really good. It was probably the largest physical team in Minnesota. I think I had at one point 40 people in the roster, which is a lot. And out of those 40, at least half of them were stunners. The other half were just people that I was bringing up into the scene to become better, get more motivated. To be involved in the sport that we all love, you have to have people there to do it with you. In 2012, the team kind of fell apart because a competitive team, Air Assault, they basically took all of my seasoned good players, and it's whatever. I mean, it's all in the past, but they moved on to what they felt was bigger and better things. But then that left me with, I guess, a less competitive team, and I had to rebuild and basically take everything from 2004 to 2012 and basically start over because all my trustworthy good guys had left. And so I tried that for an event, and I was over it. And Aerosol came to me, they're like, why don't you do this thing with us? So I did from 2012 to 2000. I still consider myself an active part of that team. However, the line that I play on, it's I don't know how to say it. It's become less involved in the sport. That's probably the right term. Key players aren't playing anymore. People just, life catches up. They have other things to do besides shoot people with paint bullets. So since that kind of not went away, but essentially, I guess it did go away. You'll have seen that I got more videos of Hostile Ground, so I decided to rebirth the team that I started so many years ago, and it's been worth it. I'm doing what I did back in the day. I'm helping people become better and more proactive, and just overall enjoy the sport more than they would had they not been on a team or not known, the things that I can teach them. And I can't just sit there and twiddle my thumbs waiting for my team, Aerosol, to figure out what we're going to do. I'm not that type of person. I like to be proactive, and I like to help people, and it's like, so I might as well, I have 3 handfuls of buddies that want me to do this. Anyway, owning a team and playing for a team are two very different things. When you play for a team, you are, you're basically at their mercy or at their will, whatever they want, or, what I'm saying? Whatever they want is what happens. You don't have the control as you would if you were, if you had your own team. Example, playing time or costs, or, when practices are scheduled. Playing for Air Assault, I'm on their schedule. When practice is, X weekend, I'm expected to be there. And if I'm not, and I guess maybe there's a repercussion, but when I have my own team, I set the times. I set, when practices, where practices, how much practice costs. I'm probably gonna start rambling about shit, so I don't want to do this video. But with teams that you play for, being at their mercy, it has its pros and cons. Pros, you're not you're not the one in charge of finding the hotel, set up the practice, setting the lines, setting the bunker codes, choosing the equipment, stuff like that. If you've ever been part of a competitive team, more often than not, if it's a committed team, you all have the same gear. You're all on the same page. But you're not in charge of that if you're not the owner or the one in charge. Makes sense. You just go there and you do a job, and it's 1,000 times easier. And I love being part of RSL because of that. I like the group of guys that are on that team. They're ruthless. They're smart. They're all. It's like we're all synced. If that's right. We don't have to. We played so much together that we don't need to. If someone's going to make a move, for example, player A knows what to do, so player B survives. In other words, and that's just something you learn from experience and gelling with other people. And it's nice to be part of that versus be the one running that. So when you own a team, it's a very different thing, and that's what this video is all about. I want to talk about why teams fail, in my opinion. So having ran and owned a very successful team for almost an entire decade versus playing for half of that, I understand the true costs of running a team, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. And what I think makes teams fail is the appreciation from the players for, I guess you could say, the owner of the team. Example, today I went out, woke up at, I think it was like 6:30, got ready, went out to, we call it FOD, it's actually my parents' house. I set up our 15 bunkers. It's not much, but that took me about an hour, and I had one guy there to help me before everything was done. Another guy showed up towards the end, but people just, they don't have the expectations that, I don't want to say that, they don't understand the amount of effort. I had 1,000 better things I could be doing this morning, besides spending my 5 hours. My Sunday's almost gone. What time is it? It's 2 o'clock now, so my Sunday's almost shot at this point, and I have 1,000 things I could be doing that are better for my time. But I didn't, because I went out there to help those guys, and it's fun for me to be there, obviously, and shoot and do some drills, but the appreciation it's just not there. I don't want to say for them in particular. I'm just saying in a team in general, in a team environment in general, there's always people that have higher expectations and don't appreciate the effort that a lot of people put into it. I think that is sort of what happened with air assault among people. Their lives going elsewhere. They're getting a different job, wife, kids. Life does catch up, and you have to make sacrifices. You have to sacrifice one thing to benefit another, and paintball is no different. I have to, people have jobs. You sacrifice working Thursday and Friday to travel down to Chicago or Cup or wherever you're playing, and that sacrifice could be good. You guys could do well, win the event, or it could be for nothing. But you're still sacrificing. Same thing goes with practice. I sacrifice. It's not important to me. That's why it's not a big deal. But sleep, breakfast, spending time with kids, you miss out on so much to benefit other people's lives, and I don't want to say paintball career, but I guess it'd be their career, that it just goes unnoticed. Around here in Minnesota, there's less than a handful of competitive good teams. Annandale Warbirds, you guys have seen us scrim them, and we talk about them. Air Assault Factory and Vintage out of Wisconsin. Shops in Minnesota, but fields in Wisconsin. And then there was Hostile Ground for a number of years until that went belly up. But from what I understand, all three teams they run very similar to each other. Air Assault has, it's flip-flopped, it's changed several times, but I'll say this, more often than not, if you go out for a trial for a team, they're going to have team dues, they're going to have team gear, meaning you have to, if you're sponsored by Eclipse, you got to shoot Eclipse, or what is it, the Vanquish, whatever. What the hell is the Vanquish made by? I don't know. Empire. There we go. Empire Vanquish. I mean, you see a lot of those all-in teams, stuff like that, all shooting the same stuff. And they have work days. Again, they have team dues. They have, for airsoft, for example, I was expected to. It is expected, but you have to clean the field, which is not a big deal to people like me, most people. But some people, it's the end of the world. But you have work days. You have to give the field your time, which is my big thing. Is my time. It's not the money. It's whatever. It's the time. You have to give the field your time to either clean up or set up or do whatever. In turn, that is their reason for financially benefiting you by compensating some of the costs for events. People get sponsorships, they get all sorts of stuff, but someone's got to pay for it. The sponsorship isn't free. Someone's paying for the paint that you're shooting. Someone's paying for the discounted gear, and that's some teams. I know Vintage, Airsoft. I don't know Annandale does, but the way they get back from their players is labor. I know Vintage, their refs, same thing with Airsoft. They have to ref the big games, the tournaments, stuff like that. Which I get. So you got team dues and you got physical labor is the main thing. The way I do things is I don't want to sound arrogant, but it's basically a gift. Okay, I have people come on the team all the time, and the only thing I ask them is for their commitment and their loyalty. I subsidize well more than half the costs, and I do that not by work days or team dues or anything like that, but basically it's a gift. Example, that last video I just posted against the Annandale Warbirds cost those guys $40 each. That includes entry and paint. True cost of that, to me, I think was, I don't have the screenshot anymore, I think it was like $67. So I basically ate $27 per player for that. And the only benefit I got from that is really nothing. The benefit they got from that is it's going to be consistently low price. They're gonna get more bang for their buck, and I guess my benefit is to that is I get their commitment. Loyalty goes a long way with me. That includes family or job or friendships. Paintball is no different. You give me your loyalty, and I don't want to say I'm buying your friendship or your loyalty, but I'm gonna help you the best that I can. I played at levels from, beginner to semi-pro, and so I believe I have tools that I can offer my players besides financial aid, that'll give them a reason to want to be part of this team. And unfortunately, this is where this video is going. There's always people there that don't appreciate that or don't acknowledge the effort that it takes. Someone, me, is paying that extra $27 per person. Someone, me, is paying the extra costs for nationals. If you guys if you want, I'm a transparent person. I'll tell you how it is. We're playing Chicago D4 5-man because those guys aren't ready for X-Ball, and it's going to cost them $200. 6 people, $200. That includes hotel, paint, and entry. Anybody who's played a competitive tournament, NXL, knows that the true cost for 5-man, if you have 5 or 6 guys on the roster, $500, $400 maybe. So I'm paying their, half of the financial burden that they have to, absorb. And I'm not playing. I'm staffing it. I'm ranked too high, otherwise I would love to. But my benefit is I get to see them do better and get motivated to, be in the sport that we all love. What's the local series? Vintage series. $100. I should. Okay, I'll say this. Let's say that $100 is what that gets in that entire event. That's entry and paint. Last time, since you made it to the finals, any team, if you make it to the finals, you're going to shoot more paint than you would if you get knocked out of prelims. But it's just a flat $100. And that, again, is entry and paint. It came out to, I think, $187 per person after we won. So I should throw this in there too. If you win an event with me, Hostile Ground, Cnoddings from YouTube. I charge you X amount, vintage, $100, okay? You win that event, I give you the $100 back. It's a free event. I get no benefit. I take the earnings, if there is any, which seems really rare nowadays. I take the earnings and I apply it to the paint bill and I just pay the rest out of my pocket. Benefit for the players is that they just got a free tournament. You know, same thing for nationals. We won NXL Chicago last year. I gave the guys 100% of the money back. One guy didn't even pay me because I think he assumed that we were going to win. Luckily, he was right. But you know that event, that hotel, the paint and the entry, it was free to them. It cost me a lot of money, but it was free to them. And only one guy out of the 6 ever there thanked me. Happened to be the one guy that inspires this video. But you know, it's just appreciation. Like, once again, I don't do it for the thanks. I don't do it for, but it is nice. You know, it's like your mom. Your mom, she changes your ass for the first 2-3 years of your life. She feeds you. She puts clothes on your back. How often do we truly thank her or your dad for everything that they do? Not saying I'm the dad or the mom, but it's nice to have the appreciation. And it really sucks when things happen like it did in 2012 or 11, whatever year that was, when your key players that you worked with for years just see an opportunity and then they go. But I think maybe one of those guys out of the 8 or so that left still plays. Yeah. Because the grass is not always greener, okay? You go to these other teams, and again, they have team dues, they have work days, they have all this other shit, and it ends up, it does catch up with you, you know. You have to travel a lot for practice. You have to put in time to clean the field or put together obstacles in their outdoor course or whatever the case may be. You need to show your appreciation. And there's so much more I could talk about, but I don't know if it's worth it. My T Sweezy shirt on. Swizzle Sunday, I call that. I mean, why not? Again, I am transparent. Since I got the camera up, I'm just going to say, real quick, my issue... I'll talk about my issues. I talked about my pros with being on air assault. My cons was basically the same thing. It's appreciation. We played Dallas. That was the last event I played with them. Vegas? Dallas? Whatever the first event was this year. And, practices are just, not to be cocky or arrogant, but I do pretty well. You guys all see the GoPro footage. I don't film even half of it because we're doing so much, but, we do a practice at the field the day before, and I thought I did great. I was staying alive. My KD was at least, 2-1, if not better. And I didn't get as much playing time as I felt I deserved, which, don't get me wrong, that's not the issue at all. If my job there is to be the 6th guy or be, the backup to someone, so be it. It is what it is. That's another issue I can talk about too, is people's expectations when they're on a team. They think that anyway. But so my issue, we were playing D2. I don't know what place we took, but I think it was, I don't know if it was top 4, maybe top 5, top 6, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, my issue was not the playing time. It wasn't the fact that I spent $1,500. It was the fact that at the end of the meeting, the coach looked me in the eyes and said if I didn't leave practice early, an hour early, 2 weeks prior, I wouldn't have been sat the entire event. Word for word. And I ended up having, that was the final straw for me. I ended up having one too many experiences with being put on the back burner, or what I felt being used. I didn't... Okay, here's another thing. The team was falling apart last year, 2017, and Vegas, I think, was the first event, right? We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know if we were playing. We didn't know if we were going to practice before. We didn't know who was playing. Nobody was willing to, raise their hand. Here's my money. Let's play. So what did I do? I gave the team a gift. I paid $2,000 after I got paid taxes on it, gave it to the team, $2,000. And I Yeah, I have a house. I make fairly good money. I work my ass off for that money, and it was a pure gift. Maybe one person, two people thanked me. The coach was like, "You sure you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's nuts." And it is nuts. $2,000. It's a mortgage payment. How would I do that? Oh, I did that for the team. I did that to make them better at. We're not going to get better by not playing. I wanted to play. Here's basically the entire entry fee for the event. It brought costs significantly down for all the players. You're welcome. Again, I'm not doing it for the thank you, but I did that. And I feel that they felt that I felt entitled to play time because of that, which was not the case. Anyway, there was another event with Air Assault. Cleveland, when they won second. I got super butthurt. No, it wasn't Cleveland. Yes, it was Cleveland. That's not the event I'm thinking of, though. There was one event. I forget which one. But a buddy of mine, Gregor, and I, we flew down the day after everyone else did. It was right in the morning. I think we landed at 11 a.m. Anyway, so everyone else went down there the night before. We have work. We weren't willing to sacrifice that day of work, sacrifice for the business to get down there not even 12 hours early. So anyway, we went up there. We went down there to the event, and we missed the practice. We were just showing up, and they were finishing the last point. And we spent 2 hours at a local Subway debating whether or not Gregor and I deserved to be on the D2 line or the D3 line. And though I had been at every single practice for the 2 or 3 months in the wintertime leading up, literally every single practice, paid my dues, shot people, got shot, became a better player in those 3 months. They had a couple people on that team that were just, screw these guys. They don't deserve to play at this level because they missed this 1 hour window of practice. Yeah, I get it's at the field. I get it's important, but holy shit, doesn't the 3 months leading up matter more than an hour? And we're sitting there, and I had most of the D2 guys on my side. They're like, yeah, we want Chris to play versus X. I'm not going to name names, but there was me and Gregor or these 2 other guys. And the 2 other guys were at the practice, okay? And at the time, not to be arrogant, but it was obvious to everyone that Gregor and I were the better picks for that event. And 2 hours later, I said this exact same thing. I'm like, are you really going to dictate whether or not Gregor and I are on this line because we missed a 1 hour practice? And sure enough, they ended up picking Gregor and I, and the other 2 went and played 5-man, and I don't think they made all the prelims. And I think we did pretty well, actually. So there's another example of like, what the fuck am I doing? Here's another example. California, I think the last PSP event, it was when the Geo 3.5 came out. I tried buying one for my coach, who was a Eclipse tech and dealer and all this stuff, and he just wasn't getting back to me, so I bought one for my buddy who worked at a competitive store. Show up at the event, we had a practice off-site. Again, not to be cocky or arrogant, but just murdered people. My KD was 4-1. It was insane. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty consistent when I play, but I was either playing really well or out of my mind or something was going on. And I got benched the entire event. I think I played 1 point, maybe, at the end when they were just out. And so the coach put in a guy that lives out of state that didn't practice with us for the 3-4 months leading up to it instead of me. And they just shit the bed. We didn't make it out of prelims. I played 1 point, and it was just bad. And then a month later, one of the guys told me, he's like, you know why you didn't play that event? I'm like, I have no idea, actually. I feel like I could have benefited you guys quite a bit. And he told me it's because I bought that gun from another store. I get when it comes to loyalty, that's big for me, but if you're not responding to me or not willing to sell me what I want, I'm not going to wait for you to, offer it to me. I have an opportunity to buy one. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to come play for you. I understand benefiting that store versus yours, but in the same time, it was a complete waste of my time. It was a waste of my money, first of all, because I was the one setting up the rental. What else? I set up a hotel for us because we got out. We didn't make our prelims, so we left. So I had set up a hotel. But more importantly, it was a waste of my time. I went there and I sat there. I have all the skills available that they could have benefited from, and they didn't utilize them. So I'm not sitting here trying to bash air assault or the coaching or anything like that. I'm just trying to talk about politics when it comes to paintball. So all of those plus many, many more that I don't feel like getting into are all the reasons why I restarted Hostile Ground, and having that control back is I think what I need. What did the coach say to me? So he said, so he refers to like the coach as the chief and the players as, you know, the little Native Americans or Indians, whatever you want to call them, you know, basically being their tools. And I think I need to be a chief, because being the player doesn't benefit me. There's more things into it besides, you know, skill and time spent. It's very, talking to my friends, you know, around the whole U.S., there's very cliquey teams, and air assault is no different. If you're not part of the favorites and stuff like that, good luck. You really have to. I'm an outsider, okay? I'm not an outsider because of my skill. I'm an outsider because I'm not, you know, a lot of those guys, they're not married. They don't have kids or careers. Yes, I have a career, not a job, but a career. And there's expectations there that they just don't understand. They're understanding now because they're not around. They're getting married, they're having kids, they're buying homes, things like that. But I had all that, you know, 5 years ago when this started. But I was there, you know. I was at the practices, I was at the events, I was at the work days, even though I didn't need to be because I bought my gun outright. It's so much, and I put in so much effort into both running a team and being on a team that it's sometimes I question, like, why, you know, what am I doing this for? But then I bring back to my point. It's not the appreciation, it's to grow the sport. We all love this sport. I have like almost 18,000 subscribers right now, like a little over 17 and a half actually, but you know, that's 17,500 people that love this sport. They like the sport. It's not going to be a sport if nobody plays. So I try my damnedest to give the guys a reason to play. Yes, a lot of them are kids. A lot of them need financial help. That's what I'm here for. Plus, my tools, you know, that I have from playing for the last 15 years that I can offer to them. You know, the benefits of just things that I've learned throughout the years. So I'm sure I've rambled enough, but I just wanted to talk about what I think makes a team fail. You need to appreciate anything anyone does. You know, someone's got to set up the hotels, someone has to set up the rentals, someone's got to pay the entry fee, set up the paint, set up the practices. You know, you don't just snap your fingers and all that's done. Okay, you need to appreciate what you have, and you need to try to better what you have as a team. You don't go out and find something better for you. When all those guys left Hostile Ground, went on air assault at that time was a more competitive team.
Dad, it's a bug.
There's a bug?
Mm-hmm.
Impeccable timing there, Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you gotta appreciate what you have. You have to work towards a better goal, you know. One guy in the team that inspired this video again, super great guy. He has tendencies about him that drive me nuts, but he has so much motivation to get better that when people don't show up, it's disheartening for him. For example, I've only filmed maybe twice, but we've been going out to FOD, parents' house, almost every week for the last 2 months. And he's been at most of them. And I haven't filmed them all. But only 4 of us show up. You know, I have 1,000 things I could be doing. I could be playing with the kids. I could be mowing my lawn. I could be not working for once. But I'm out there benefiting him with my time. Okay, I'm not worried about the effort it takes to blow up the field, clean the field, all that nonsense. It's the time spent that's not appreciated. Hopefully what you guys take from this is not me ranting like a little girl. It's not my intent. My intent is to open up or make people aware, the true cost of playing competitive paintball, whether you own the team or whether you play for a team. That's another thing. I know I mentioned this before, but my big thing is loyalty. Okay, it's tough. Loyalty comes a long way with me, and with anything, a job, paintball, family, it's no different. I don't want to put effort into you if you're not going to put the effort back into me. Unlike other teams around here, I don't mean effort as in cleaning up my field or reffing my events. I mean effort as in you show up and you want to do a good job. You show up and you want to better yourself and better the team. More importantly, you can be a stunner on the line, but that's only good for so much on airsoft. We find the stunner all the time and we zone them out and we shoot them. You're only as good as your weakest player. That's cheesy, but it's true. And I'm out there with D5 kids trying to make them better because I want them to grow the sport, but more importantly, I want them to grow with the team and become better. And it's crazy. The younger, less experienced guys are so much more appreciative, so much more willing to. That's why I had 40 guys on the team back in the day. I had my 15, 20 stunners. I had just as many guys that were not capable of playing even D3 or barely even D4. But I kept them around, not for team dues because I didn't have any, not for. Shut the door, Kenny. Not for their time, not for their time for physical labor because I don't need it. Not for their money because I'm subsidizing half of it, literally. But I do it so it gets them involved and dedicated to the team. Team around here, Annandale Warbirds, I respect the shit out of those guys. Despite not being as competitive as they could be, they are the most hardworking and committed and loyal group of guys in the area. The same maybe 5 guys have been on that team since, I don't know, 2005, 2006, maybe not quite that long, but you know what I'm saying? They've been around for forever and they've played with each other. They don't see an opportunity in Iowa and jump ship to go to what they feel is better. They could be a better team. I don't know. I haven't played for anyone but Aerosol and HG. They could be better. But doing that is not benefiting anyone but yourself. And more often than not, they realize the grass is not always greener. I can't tell you how many friends I've hired at my work only for them to, again, comes back to appreciation, but only for them to something not work out. They quit or they move on to a different job or something, and they quickly realize, holy shit, I had it really good at that place. It's no different with the team. I don't know if you've seen the videos, but I'm not buying their commitment or their membership, but I'm making sure when they come here or play an event with me, I'm making sure that they get the experience. Chicago costs $200. I guarantee you they got a $200 experience. Vintage costs $100. I guarantee they got a $100 experience. And whether that's through how much paintball time they played, how much whatever, they always leave wanting to come back. And that's my goal. My goal is to make them happy and better at paintball. Because what do I benefit from it? I could surely. I've since the aerosol not disbanded, but since the aerosol thing kind of went quiet, I've gotten messages and phone calls from 4 different teams trying to get me to play with them because I don't know if they understand that I'm an adult and I take accountability. I am capable of, so many times you play with kids or even some adults. What happens if, here's a good example, a vintage event. I think it was Rooster Crew. They go to pay for the paint and they literally not debated, but they were sitting in a circle like, who wants to give up their card? Who's gonna put it on their card? Who's gonna pay for the paint this time? And expect and hope that everyone else in that group pays them back. You know, you don't have to worry about that when you have a competitive, successful team like Air Assault or Hostile Ground. I can't. Talking with Tholi, for example, he still has guys that owe him money because they're not appreciative of the effort that Tholi's put into them. You know, Tholi's a pro player. He doesn't need to coach or I would bet Tholi would make so much more money if he didn't put so much effort into that team. If he focused on actually the field and making money, you know, he could hire reps to, you know, do the field. But again, he's getting free labor out of the team by being part of it, so it makes sense. And I'm pretty sure they have team dues. I could be wrong. Someone told me they had team dues, but they paid, I think, full price for the first event or two in the NXL, and so did Aerosol, because I'm totally freaking rambling, but that's the main difference that people don't understand about me and Hostile Ground. I would never expect, it'd be nice, but it's not realistic. I would never expect someone to pay 100% of an event and get nothing and get no benefit. You know, their benefit is practices. You know, they get trained by a pro. Aerosol gets the best facility in the Midwest. You know, there are benefits to that. I'm not saying that, but holy shit, when it comes, the main issue to me is that I see people having is financial, and that's where I try to help the most. I'm not a pro player. I think I'm pretty good, but I'm not a pro, and I think I've done this for so many years, so many times, that I know the do's and don'ts of paintball. But again, the moral or the point of this video is, if you're going to commit to something, you need to commit to it. Don't wait for all the people to show up. Don't wait for the situation to better itself. You need to better it by being there. You need to better yourself within instead of going out and finding something else. You need to appreciate the effort everyone, not just you, not just the owner, but everyone is putting into being there. Airsoft was like, I don't know, at one point the highest is maybe 30 guys on the team. It was perfect because people were being held accountable. People were showing up, and it was a competitive. You know, people were. I spent 2 hours at Subway debating whether or not Greg and I deserve the spot or these other two dudes. You know, it's a competitive scene. The competition is good. Locally here, the competition is dead. There's Airsoft Vintage. That's basically it. There's Warbirds too, but those guys are at a different level than Airsoft and Vintage, because Airsoft and Vintage is more of a business versus a team. That's what House of Ground is too. I consider House of Ground a club. We just got all these sick new jerseys, and I talked to the Warbirds. It's pretty freaking sick. Warbirds coach, Airsoft, and they're all saying the same thing. You know, I'm sure Vintage is the same way. You don't just be on a team and get a jersey. That's I understand and I agree with that aspect, but to me, it's not. It's more of a club, you know, than a membership. I don't have team dues. Like, and they'll just tell me about that. The first thing they do when they have someone who wants to play is he gets, I think, $400 up front, and what that tells him is that you're committed to the team. I totally get that. I respect that. I would love to do that, but I never would, because that's just not how I run things. I'm not trying to be taken advantage of, or I'm not trying to. I don't know. Another thing about running a team is that there's lots of bullshit that happens. I have one guy, for example, that's, you know, the guy that is no longer part of the team. I have him talking to my teammates about bailing on me and the future of House of Ground to go do whatever it is he wants to do. And that shit just, like, it rubs me the wrong way so bad. It makes me lose sleep at night, and it shouldn't, because what was my benefit from any of this House of Ground stuff? It's like people like that just make me pissed off that I'm wasting my time, and more importantly my energy. And actually, my time is more important than my energy. I give so much of my energy away to anything. And it's my time that's important to me. Painzig is good. Got another DM4. Got this off eBay. And if you don't want to be part of a team or a company or a relationship, you don't have to be. I'm not saying that my team is better than anyone else's. I'm not saying screw those guys, come to me. I'm not saying any of that. If you don't want to be it, if it's not a good match for you, that's perfectly fine. But I think you need to be respectful and go out, with some class, not just go jump and join another team, not just say, fuck those guys and walk away. It's that type of stuff that's frustrating as a team owner to have to deal with. Sometimes it seems almost like it's day to day. But then what I've learned is that you just trim the fat. You get rid of those who don't appreciate being there, because it's not a right to be part of my team. For example, it's not something that's, I accept most people because I want them to be better and want to be part of the team, but it's not that you have a right to be part of the team. It is a privilege. I don't want people to take advantage of my time or my money or whatever. Again, it's not about money, but my time. But it is a privilege to be part of House and Ground, I think. And the moment that someone feels that they're benefiting you, when they have absolutely zero idea the true costs of playing, that's when the relationship becomes, toxic. It's okay to walk away. Basically, it's okay if you don't want to be part of the team. It's okay if you want to try something else. It sucks because how much time and effort, not just me, but everyone puts into you. But if it's not a good matchup for you, that's okay. Just do it right. Talk about it. Don't go behind my back. Go try out for another team, or don't try to talk. That's what happened in 2012. I had people basically team up against me. It's like, we're just gonna fuck them, leave them dry, screw the last 5 years of effort and energy and time and money you put into me, and let's go join something better. You're gonna find that attitude all the time. And so I've just learned that I let so much go, both at my business and my personal life. I let so much go, under the rug without saying a word, because there's better things that deserve my efforts. So it's right there. I'm not gonna sweat the little things. I had a buddy who plays on my team. He's like, how do you deal with all this shit, and how do you deal with, airsoft? He told me all the shit airsoft players just talk about me. I can go on. It's stupid stuff, but it's locker room talk. It's nonsense. It's bullshit. It's like, how do you deal with that? It's like, I'm not there to make friends. I want to be friends with everyone there. I want them to want to be friends with me, but in the same time, I'm there to play paintball. So like, how I deal with that stuff is I just whatever, you live in your mom's basement. it is what it is. Not that it's about materialistic things, but my life and my morals are different than theirs, I guess. So I wanted to add that in there. It's okay to not be part of the team, but do it right. Don't try to convince other people to drop out with you. I've had this issue with our business too. Someone gets upset over something and they try to get other people to leave with them, or damn the man type of thing, damn the company that's screw them over by trying to strip out their entire department of all their guys. Like, don't do that. Okay, that's not how. Nobody wins when you do that. Same thing with paintball. Don't try to take my players or whisper, hey, let's go get this a try. The grass is definitely greener over here, only to find out within a month, hey, it's really not. So back to what I was saying, how do I let that shit not bug me? It's like, I know what's important in life. I know that people say mean, stupid things more often than not. They don't even know what they're talking about. My coach, for example, in aerosol, he knows exactly what I go through, or I'm going through, I guess, on this team, because he goes through it all the time. People not showing up, people, not knowing what they want to do, or not being able to pay, or whatever the case may be. It's always an uphill battle, and people like myself do it for the love of the game. I guess is the best way of putting it. I think that's Stoley's thing, but it's true, you know. You do it for the love of the game, and that's it. When you're the owner of a team, you can also pick who you allow. I mean, bring it back to the jersey thing. Pick who you allow to roster. Okay, it's not. There's no pool that people can just, you know, I'm gonna pick these 5 guys and go play because someone has to pay for it. You know, nothing's free. And when you're the owner, you can pick who you want to represent your team. When you're the player, you're at their mercy. For my circumstance, I feel that I deserved better in the way, you know, so much went unnoticed, I guess. There's several people on the team that aren't part of the team, go figure, anymore, that, you know, their efforts were just not acknowledged, not appreciated. And I know the person watching this probably knows exactly who I'm talking about. But this video is so ridiculous and pointless, but I'm committed to it now. You need to appreciate everything you have. You need to work for betterment in anything you're doing, your career, your life, your family, your paintball team. It's all the same thing. You have to look at everything as the same. And more often than not, there's people out there that feel that they're doing... I have one guy on the team, he thinks he's doing us a favor by being there, and he is, but also we're doing him a favor. We're giving him an opportunity to play, better himself. But when you... This video, I'm sorry, it's gone 100 different directions, but when you start playing for a team, if you think you're benefiting them versus them benefiting you, that's where I was wrong. That's what this video is all about. Nobody should put more into it than anyone else. Someone's always going to, the owner. As far as players go, you just show up and play. But there's people out there that feel as if they deserve better, and they go down to freaking Iowa and try out only to probably get shit on, because those guys are a lot better than you. And there's people that show up, play for me, win Chicago, get a huge ego boost, and go play for the next best thing. And I totally get that, but that doesn't benefit anyone but yourself. And then pretty soon, it's just, I've been doing this for so long that I understand, you know, everything has a life cycle to it, including paintball careers. People get burnt out, they get married, they have kids, they get a career, they don't want to deal with the politics anymore. And that was my thing, is to deal with the politics. Luckily, I'm in a situation where I can financially afford things, and I have the time, most of the time, to do this. I'm ranked so high that I really can't play locally or regionally, but I can make other people, you know, capable of doing that, which is why I'm doing House of Ground. Okay. I mean, this is my first time doing this. Put it off for weeks because I hate drama. I hate politics. But they're there in anything you do. Job, family, paintball. That's all I got. And politics aren't all of it. So I just roll with the punches. I do the best I can. I show up. I give my effort, and I maybe I have high expectations. Maybe I expect more, but I really... If you took anything from this video besides me ranting like a little bitch, hopefully you take that nothing is free in this world. You get people's time, people's energy, people's money. Nothing is free. Hopefully you guys hung in there with me for this whole thing. Hopefully I didn't embarrass myself or say anything people don't understand. I don't know. Alright guys, we will see you next time.